Today's episode, I want to dedicate and thank one individual who's made a big impact in my life, and that was in the comments in relationship to the last video, and that's Cheryl. Thank you to Cheryl. Let's roll the intro. You notice behind me two step vans. The white one here, that's mine. The one next to me here is Wade's new step van, which he just purchased a couple of weeks ago. He's camping with me.
Duke, come.
All right,
come.
Wade's parked next to me, and this is his dog, Duke. And what do you think of Moab?
Oh, it's beautiful. Worth a trip. We're parked on an old airport runway. So we actually seen some old biplanes that came by and looked over our parking area.
From this angle here, you can see this runway. There's two runways that run parallel going generally north and south through this valley, and on each side the beautiful red rocks of the Moab area. Moab is situated right between Canyonlands National Park and Arches National Park, so this is sort of the beautiful red rocks area and Arches area of southern Utah, right near the New Mexico border. Here you can see my camp set up right here on the runway. And here is the little area with bushes in between and more rigs over there, and these beautiful red rocks which light up in the evening on both sides over here with red rocks. I guess this is morning here. And then over here in the distance, beautiful snow-capped mountains, and it had snowed here just last week. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a wonderful way to wake up looking outside my window. This is what I see, these red rocks here that light up in the sunset. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm guessing that most of you have never seen things from the side of the YouTube creator and what we're seeing when we're looking at your comments that you write underneath the videos. Let me show you a little bit about how that works. This is the interface that I see as a YouTube user. Over here are all my controls on this side, and then under community there's an area for comments over here. And you can see the various videos over here, like this is Dwayne's step van, which is really popular right now. This guy writes, "This guy is brilliant." I try to reply to all of these, so sometimes it's a short reply because you can just see there's just dozens and dozens of comments here, and so I have to reply to each of these. There were a couple of these that were just absolutely wonderful. One was from Desert Diva, and her name is Cheryl, and you can see this underneath the video that I posted last time. Have traffic going past out here. Today is Jeep week, so all these giant Jeeps are going past in their rigs. You see how big that Jeep is out there? Here's another Jeep following him. Getting back to this, here she gives some advice. Save the tooth first, and then she talked about getting a night guard. A lot of you mentioned that. That's fantastic advice. I'm going to do that. And down here she talks about the dentist right at the border of Deming, New Mexico. And down here she recommends a dentist in Palomos. So I started looking into that. She sent me her contact information by a direct email using the email link below the video. So I followed up and I took her contact information and I called her up on the phone and got the scoop on this place down in just off the New Mexico border, Palomos, or however you pronounce that, and it sounded really good. And I asked her to round up a number for me to call the dentist down there. Well, she took it a step further, really wonderful, and called down to the dentist, got the price, emailed that to me, and made me an appointment for this coming Wednesday, and set it up for me. And she told me, no pressure, I'm not trying to be invasive in any sort of way or be rude, but she knew that I could cancel it at no fault and might as well make it and get my place in line held for me if I want it. So thank you, Cheryl, for being proactive in there and researching this and finding it. The quotes that I'm getting right now are $150 for a crown out the door, and that's the composite noble metal with porcelain, which is the recommended route to go. So that sounds pretty good. And right now I'm still planning on going to Taos, New Mexico for a Escapers event that's out there. And so this is sort of the closest way I can go down to Mexico and go on the way. And I'm also dealing with some issues down in Florida and properties down there. So in the event that I decide that I need to go to Florida, then that's also closer to being on the way. So I think this solves a number of my problems that I'm having right now, at least getting the dental thing taken care of while I'm figuring out what's going on in Florida. I did also want to recognize that many of you wrote in your comments to go ahead and just pull the tooth, that was the easier, less expensive option. So those were the two primary reasons stated. And many of you have had this done before, just went that route and never bothered to replace it or put in an actual artificial tooth. I'm camped nearby right next to a dental assistant. That's her full-time job. She's been doing it for many, many years. And so she went through the pros and cons of going that particular route or saving the tooth, which is cracked, not terribly bad, but enough to be causing me all of this discomfort. So I went through all the different options and had a lengthy discussion with her and came to the conclusion that, at least for me and my personal choice, that for the $150, that this is the better route for me to go and to try to save the tooth. So that's the direction I'm going. Thank you again for looking at that as an option. I didn't even think about pulling the tooth, and so it was good for me to at least go through the logic and address that as one of the options, and then choosing to eliminate that and proceed with going with the crown. So thank you for those comments. The other comment that I saw a lot of you write is to sell my property in Florida or sell all my properties in Florida and get out of the rental business. What you probably don't know is that that's like 95% of my income is from that, and that's my retirement. I don't have retirement savings. I don't have a retirement plan. It is the rental properties. So if I sell the house, sure, I have money in my bank account, but that will only last me just a few years off of the money that I would have from selling the property versus having $800 a month ongoing for the rest of my life, which is what I have now from the rental property. Yes, there's escalating repair costs right now. I think my repair costs and estimates from the latest things that are coming in are in the range of $12,000 to $15,000 from my management company to get the place repaired. So I'm going through and looking at all my options there, trying to determine if these repairs actually are needed, getting second opinions, rounding up numbers, looking at one of you suggested a equity line of credit against the property value, so I'm looking into that. Thank you for bringing that up. So I really, really appreciate the think tank networking that I'm doing here through social media and using you as a resource, and you getting involved and giving me a wide variety and years of experience to help me out and work through the logic of these decisions. Thank you, every one of you who wrote comments, and for all of your input. I hope you saw that I went through and addressed each of those and tried to weigh the pros and cons and come to my own decisions. So Cheryl, again, thank you. Oh, there's one other gentleman, I forget his name. You also wrote down the exact same dentist, the same city, in Palermo or however you pronounce it. So thank you. Your comment was right next to Cheryl's, so both of those brought that to my attention. It was just that Cheryl had given me her contact information and helped me set up with the dentist. So again, many, many thanks to all of you. That's all I have for this episode. Savor the moment, and I'll see you in the next video.